U.S. citizens and LPRs who have stayed behind because of their extended families. What is the discussion in this building and with DHS about prioritizing extended family in order to get them out of Afghanistan as well? I mean, it's pretty hard, it's pretty easy to understand that if you have, elderly relatives, you don't want to leave them behind in a country where you can't trust that they're going to be safe. Do these people now get to be on a priority list to leave the country if the only reason that they would be on the list is because they have U.S. or LPR relatives?
Well, Roz, we have a special commitment to U.S. citizens. And it is not only the commitment that is deeply held and deeply felt by the Secretary and everyone in this building and across the administration, but it's actually written into statute. It's written into U.S. code that the Secretary of State has a special obligation that goes beyond other obligations to U.S. citizens. And I think everyone in this room can understand that. So certainly that is our priority. We are in regular contact with American citizens in Afghanistan. And we've talked about this process as being dynamic, a decision or feedback that we may hear one day, including in the context of the more than 30 individuals who were invited to be on this flight today. That answer could be different tomorrow or the next day. There have been cases where individuals say, I want to leave, and then later they say, I've decided to stay. There have been cases where individuals say, I've decided to stay, and then reverse themselves. And that is perfectly understandable. It is perfectly legitimate. These are, in many cases, wrenching decisions just for the dynamic that you explained. That is certainly at play in some of these cases. Now, we will continue to offer these American citizens going forward indefinitely the opportunity to depart Afghanistan if they so choose. This invitation, this opportunity doesn't expire if they turn it down one day and change their mind the next, or even next year. When it comes to their family members, it is difficult to be categorical about this because every individual is going to be in a different circumstance. But as you know, it is not only U.S. citizenship that may convey a reason to travel to the United States, to be granted entry into the United States. But there are other mechanisms through which individuals can travel. We have talked about so-called Priority 1 refugee referrals. In some cases, some of these individuals may be eligible for P2 refugee referrals. So we will explore all appropriate options, but those are discussions that we'll have to have on an individualized basis, given the circumstances of each family and of each U.S. citizen. Yes?
That could take some time to sort out with each individual case. What if someone comes to you and says, look, I'm really worried about this, I can't leave my life in the U.S., unattended, but I cannot get on a plane if my elderly mother or grandmother can't come with me. Isn't there something you can do to, get her to the head of the line? What do you do in that case?
Again, it's difficult for me to offer any sort of conclusion from here because, as we've said, every American who remains in Afghanistan, who has expressed any interest in departing, has been assigned a case manager. We're using a case management strategy. And what that means is we have individuals in this building, in many cases, assigned to correspond with these individuals, to speak to them on the phone, to be in touch with them over text, to exchange emails, WhatsApp messages. And so they will hear the totality of these circumstances. And as you note, there may be instances where circumstances evolve quickly. The good news is that all of the Americans we've been able to identify, or I should say that have identified themselves to us, who are interested in potentially departing the country, they know how to be in touch with us. They know precisely how to relay their circumstances and will be in a position to offer guidance that is tailored and precise for the circumstances in which they find themselves. Yes?